and welcome back from Dan Sohan. Are you looking to get a new mode of transport, a new method of A to B, just looking to save a few pounds on your fuel expenses? Why not consider an electric bike? Now, I've got an electric bike here that I've had for about 6 months, so I'm going to share my review with you today and take a look at this Z4 Zipper electric bike. After looking at various bike options in the UK, I decided to go with one of these Chinese imports, and surprisingly it's very well built. So some of the features that we have on this bike are front and rear suspension. The front suspension also features this handy lockout, really useful when you're on flat terrain. This bike did not have rear light or front light when I purchased it. I've added these, and it also did not come with this particular module here. This is a module that I've added as an upgrade. It displays my voltage. The onboard computer does display voltage, but it doesn't display your total mileage at the same time. So I thought, well, I want them both. I'll put this module on here that displays the voltage. I've also added 2 USB ports that I can use to charge my phone and the GoPro while out and about. I found the easiest way to tap into the battery supply was here, and actually just put a jack into the charge port, and I can draw 38 volts or 40 volts out here and then regulate it down to the 5 volts required here for USB. The GoPro doesn't come with this, but I'm sure they'll do a bike soon with a GoPro built in. It does come with these rather nice shift selectors here, these selectors. It features both front and rear disc brakes, which are both very good. The saddle that came with the bike did look a little uncomfortable, but after a few hundred miles on this bike I found it to be quite comfortable, mainly because I'm not doing so much pedalling. The bike is also a folding bike, and by undoing this locking catch here, the bike actually breaks into 2 halves. Bit difficult to do one-handed, and the battery is actually locked into the frame, which is really handy. You can remove the battery, but it doesn't come with an external charger. The battery does have to be in the frame to charge, and we plug into that jack that we just saw on the other side of the bike. It's easy enough to lock into place. We just fold that and bring that catch down, and this actually feels a very secure system. I was a bit worried, what if that comes undone while cycling, but I've had no issues whatsoever, and the bike does feel very sturdy in the middle. The bike also features a 6061 aluminium alloy frame. I know that because it says it here, and the bike's electric drive is provided by this hub motor here. It says 25 kilometers an hour on there. It will push along at about 17 miles an hour quite okay. I believe it's rated at 250 watts. There are much more powerful bikes out there, but this is quite powerful enough, and to be honest, on the main road travelling at 17 miles an hour feels more than fast enough. So let's take it for a spin and see how it goes. As you can hear, the motor's fairly quiet. There's a small whine there. The bike itself is also fairly quiet. There is sometimes a little knock from the battery pack. Let's see if I can do that. There it is, a little rattle. Though it's not really a problem. I should put some rubber spacers in there to take that vibration up. Generally a very comfortable bike to be sat on. Now it's pedal assist, so when I start pedaling, the motor kicks in. I've got 5 different speeds here that I can select, or 5 different powers, and they'll actually take us along at different speeds. And I don't know if this is supposed to be the case on the UK market, but I found that if I hold one of the buttons down, I can actually put it into cruise control mode and move along without even pressing the pedals. now we've been for a little spin, I'll just talk a little bit about how the bike was assembled. It did arrive with the front wheel removed. The rear wheel was in place and all set up, ready to go. The bike was folded in half. I had to attach the wheel by setting up this headset in the middle there on the axle. I had to kind of tune the front brakes up a little bit, and the handlebars also needed fitting on. There was a kind of a stub here that they needed bolting onto, and the handlebars bolted into this attachment. All the cables and everything were already attached, so it was just the handlebars removed to make it flat pack into the box a little easier. I think I fitted the saddle, the mud guards, and then it was ready to go. Really quite easy, stress-free. Now I don't really want to blame anyone or send any names here, but I did purchase another bike from a high street bike retailer recently, and it was absolutely dreadful. I paid about 240 quid for it, so it was down the budget end of the market, but everything's gone wrong. The gear changer broke, the brakes broke, the linkages stopped working. Now this particular bike, I've done maybe 300 miles on it now. I've charged the battery probably about 30 times, maybe a little bit more. I think I'll probably get about 10 miles out of the charge, maybe just under, which is fairly reasonable for nipping back to work and back. For me, that will do 3 or 4 days. The bike has been faultless. I can't say that anything's gone wrong with it. I can't see that anything's fallen off, apart from the mud, which is my responsibility. Everything works as it should, and I haven't even had a punctured tyre yet, and I've been driving it in some pretty tough scenarios. So there we have it. The last thing to test is how well does it go uphill. Now it's not like these Bosch or Yamaha driven bikes that will actually drive up a mountain. I was kind of walking up a really steep hill and I hear this noise, and a guy's just kind of sat on a bike zooming up the hill, and I did take note of which kind of bike it was, and it was the one with the Bosch motor, which is actually built into the sprocket set down here, or this part of the bike down the bottom. And the cheapest I could find one of those bikes for was, £1,400. So this thing was nearly a third of the price, and for that it does absolutely everything I want. And we'll just nip up a hill now. So here we have our hill, which is quite steep. Camera doesn't do it justice, and I'll try and keep an eye on the screen down here. I'm giving it a very light pedal assist in lowest gear. You can see we get about 4 miles an hour. It does slow down, and I do have to assist, but I'm putting very little energy in at all. So that's the kind of limitations of this bike. You get to a hill, it does slow down considerably. It just kind of helps you get up that hill. It's not too bad, it's just something you've got to put up with.